Hey guys, Tom McKeown, www.yourtruechange.com. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to take a look at Fast 5 Steps to Business from Nothing on my page. It's free, it's awesome, it'll get you making money by this time next week if you follow the steps. It's not a scam. I do it, it's work, I put myself out there. If it was really a scam, I wouldn't put myself publicly out there, right? So, anyway, let's talk today about one of my favorite articles of all time, really the article that got me to start thinking about leaving my career when I was in investment banking, doing the long, commutes, really, just having no time, being overtaxed, not being with my family, not being able to do the things I want to do, and just all kinds of pressure, being, paid a W-2 base salary and being told F you all day by, prospects and clients when I was cold calling people. And that, of course, is the article written by Steve Pavlina, one of really my biggest influencers in personal development. He's at www.stevepavlina.com. He's absolutely awesome. And of course, he wrote a very famous article back in 2006 called 10 Reasons You Should Never Get a Job. And when I first saw it, I was like, what the hell is this guy on crack smoking? But as he started to go over everything and I started to read it, it really started to make more and more sense to me. Today I'm only going to cover the first 5 reasons because it is kind of long and I don't want to bore the crap out of you. But number one, of course, is that income is for dummies. Why is income for dummies? Well, it's by far the most taxed type of money that there is here in the United States anyway, right? So if you're a W-2 employee and you get paid by your employer, by your company, you're paying more taxes than someone who, let's say, for example, is a 1099 contractor, or so somebody who, is basically just, kind of a free agent, taking money for odd jobs but not really an employee, and certainly a heck of a lot more than someone who owns their own business, no matter what kind of business it is. So you're really paying a heck of a lot more money than you should to the federal, state, city, municipal governments, and all kinds of fees by having an actual job as opposed to your own business. Okay. Number two is limited experience. That's right, I said it. By getting a job, you are actually limiting your experience. How is that? Because you hear so many people say, oh, well, I want to get this job so I get experience. The reality is you're not experiencing much more. Yeah, maybe you can add on your belt loop a couple more years to one job or one like stint that you had with some, brand name X or Y company, but in reality you're not really doing much more. You get experience by living life, right? By interacting with people, by doing the things that you do, not necessarily from showing up at some office or some construction site or some restaurant or whatever the hell it is that you do every day, because you're doing the same thing over and over again. So you're not really doing that much more than that, and therefore really you're wasting more time than time you're adding. You're not really sharpening and building more skills. You're really just kind of picking up a few skills and doing them over and over again. That's why it's limiting your experience, right? Number three, lifelong domestication. If you are in a job or in a corporate environment or whatnot, an office, take a look around you and see people in the offices and see what they're really doing. Are they acting naturally? Are they acting like themselves? Are you acting like yourself as you would in your home, or say if you were the boss? I think you know what the answer is. It's lifelong domestication. It's treating yourself to say, hey, look, I'm good, I'm subservient, I'm a soldier. Look at me, woohoo. The reality is no one cares how many hours you put in and you stay in some office outside of very few people. But look at that. That time, that's your most valuable commodity, your most valuable asset, and you're simply using it all for the sake of, sitting there trying to impress someone that frankly probably doesn't really care anywhere as much as you're led to believe they do. So frankly, it's a waste of time. Don't be domesticated for life. And number four, way too many mouths to feed. What does this mean? Well, the money that you're making from the company based on what you're doing in your job. Let's say, for example, you're in sales, okay, and you bring in $1 million in new contracts in 1 year. Well, of course, you're going to get paid a certain amount of commissions, right? But let's be honest, usually it's going to be what? On the low end, 2 or 3% going on on the absolute high end 20%, all depending on what it is that you do, whether you're in finance, technology, whatever it is, okay? And the rest of that money is going to go to your firm for work that they didn't even do. They had you out there. They had you on the floor basically selling this thing and paying you a fixed salary. And so you're seeing, much lower profit than they are. So you're essentially taking, I guess, what would be the breadcrumbs off the table when they've taken all the chips and they've taken all the goodies, right? All for the work that you've done, right? And that money, that profit goes to the the owners of the company, the investors, other people in the company that are not selling the product and working their butt off to get it in front, okay, people in the support staff. So the work that you're doing is what's helping them bring in the funds to pay for everything else, all based on your back, and you're getting a very small portion of it while they're getting a lot. So you're feeding way too many mouths. That's great, okay? If you want to go work in some charity, go to a soup kitchen, okay? Go and help go and help the hurricane or the earthquake victims around the world. Don't sit there and work for a corporation. That's no charity, okay? And number 5, it's way too risky. That's right. Too many people think that a job is really the ultimate thing that you could do to prevent risk. But if you really think about it, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, because why would you possibly put your ability to earn an income or to earn money or support in the hands of somebody else? Because that's what you're doing, right? When you have your own business, or even if you're an outside contractor, you're able to diversify, right? You're able to take different courses of action. You're able to look and you're able to forecast your earnings, where the market's going, where your vendors are going, where your manufacturers are going, where your clients who service are going. So you're able to say, okay, how do I adjust my business model to make sure that I still am profitable and I can still go forward? Well, when you have a job, you can't do that, right? You can sit there and you can cry till the cows come home to your boss, but your boss might not give an absolute rat's ass about what you say. Have you been there before? I sure have. So it really, frankly, is way too risky. Your boss is going to do what's best for their agenda. That's the first 5 reasons out of 10 to never get a job. I'm going to do part 2 next week. Of course, that's on Steve Pavlina's site, www.stevepavlina.com. I'm Tom Kim at www.yourtruechange.com. Thanks so much for joining. Don't forget to download my free product offering, Fast 5 Steps to Business from Nothing. See you next time, guys.